Thank you very much for joining us today on this beautiful Saturday afternoon, live at the peak of recorded human history. We're talking Kingdom Hearts today, ladies and gentlemen. And before we dive into the theories of it all, before I, start going off on some of the theories and analysis and ideas that I've had the last few days since we last did a Kingdom Hearts episode on Monday, Mr. Nomura has come forward with a statement. And I figure before we get into all the craziness, we hear it from the king himself. We hear it from the master of masters himself. So he did an interview very recently, and I found this particular part of the interview the most striking. It's coming to us by way of KH Tomorrow. Shout out to him. Make sure you're following his channel. Let's get into this. Question was, among the games you've been involved in, which one has left the strongest impression on you? Nomura says, it would be hard for me not to mention Kingdom Hearts, which has become the work of my life. I never would have thought the journey would be this long. At the start of the project, I visited Disney's headquarters many times, and many of our discussions came to fruition over time. We really managed to give birth to a world of dreams and magic. I still have things left to accomplish, and even with the fourth game, we're trying new things, so stay tuned. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, the jig is up. No more can Kingdom Hearts fans act like the ugly stepsister. No long can Kingdom Hearts fans act like the neglected middle child. I say that as a middle child. When asked which game left the strongest impression, Papa Nomura gave his love to the Kingdom Hearts fans. And in case you need any reminder about Nomura's resume, there is no shortage of games and franchises he could have given the love to. Could have been Final Fantasy VII, 8, 10, 13, Versus 13, The World Ends With You, Parasite Eve. The list goes on and on and on. But he threw the bone over to us Kingdom Hearts fans, and many of us are fans of lots of Nomura's work. You guys know I have just as big a love for Final Fantasy as I do Kingdom Hearts, but it is refreshing when things have been so silent for the director himself to come forward and say that, hey, of all the things he's been blessed to work on, of all the things he's been blessed to create, Kingdom Hearts, has left the strongest impression. Give me a second, guys. Just going to lower my volume a bit. I really don't want to do the best as I can to not clip the mic. But all right, Dorian Wynn says, my theory is your Sora is Noctis Lucius Kylem's nobody. Look, we all know Versus 13 is going to be involved. Okay, it's now become Kingdom Hearts Versus 13 final mix. A lot of us are happy about that. Other people feel a different type of way about it. But I most certainly don't. Knock Flugel says, what's up, Hispanic Penguin? It's the old gamer tag right here. Do you have the full interview? There's some interesting stuff in there, hints at his future. I think we're going to do the interview on a whole separate episode. I have too much in my theory brain today, but we will 100% do the full interview at a later date. But I did want to touch on it, let everybody know about it like you see here, and just, again, reiterate that Papa Nomura threw us the love on this fine day. But now let me pull up what we're going to need for the theories today, because it's going to be fun. I primarily want to cover a couple of things we've all been thinking about in the last few episodes. We're going to start with some Foreteller matchups and why I think certain matchups are maybe not inevitable, but likely in Kingdom Hearts' future. And then I want to talk about Sora's Trinity. And when we get to that, the conversation might seem familiar to you all. But let's get started. And you know what? Let's shrink this down a little bit so everybody can see it. There we go. So one thing I want to talk about is, there's a lot of different conflicts happening on different angles in the Kingdom Hearts world. You have Sora, who's in Quadratum, the Master of Masters is there, Yozora is there, you have the Guardians of Light and the Foretellers on a whole separate side of reality. So I think an inevitable clash between the Foretellers and the Guardians of Light is forthcoming, if not in Kingdom Hearts 4, then definitely in Kingdom Hearts 5. Now, these characters do have other independent things going on, like in the case of Aqua, she is training Kairi. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. I think she may even be training Ventus, and Kairi and Ventus might be her students, and there might be a repeat of Birth by Sleep happening, but we're going to save that for later in the episode. Starting with Aqua and Invi, these are two characters who I think are surely destined to clash, And if you guys recall some earlier conversations we've had, I've put out a video about this. These two characters are very much alike. You may not think so at first glance, but when you start to look into their flaws and even some of their virtues, right, their sins and their virtues, you guys know me, you start to see quite an overlap between these two ladies. Magical Val Girl says, although I have to thank you, Landy, for bringing a lot to the table. I give it all to the chat. I give it all to the chat. I give it all to the devs. You know what I'm saying? I'm just one man. But when we all put our heads together, we always end up having a great time. And I'm very thankful for that. Okay, I'm happy to see some people liked my Decidia Duellum ghost theory. You know, we've done a few audience theories episodes in this channel's history. I've been reading some of the comments people like you, Magical Val Girl, have been leaving on my videos, and I wish I could respond to them all. I really do. But I think another audience theory episode is coming. And we're getting close to the 300th episode of the Landy Lodge. Today's episode 294. So, you know, maybe for episode 300, we might have an audience theory portion. We'll stay tuned on that. But before we continue, how about a swig for the hardworking men and women at Square Enix and a nice gulp of coffee so I have proper energy for this stream. That is some good coffee. And I can't say that without thinking of Pulp Fiction. If you know, you know. If you haven't seen Pulp Fiction, when this stream ends, please go get cultured. Okay. Magical Val Girl says, I hope I get to participate on that audience vid. You will. You will. Your theories are one of the ones that have stood out to me. And you've been around the channel for a long time. So don't you fear about that. And plus, the last time we did it, I think I was live for like 4 or 5 hours. I make sure everybody has a voice. I make sure everybody can chime in. But anyway, let's talk Aqua versus Invi, okay? The bottom line is, when I look at these two characters, and I look at what Aqua went through in Birth by Sleep, and what Invi went through in Back Cover and Union Cross, and what I actually see going on is a similar flaw manifesting in both of them. A flaw that might otherwise be a virtue if it wasn't overly indulged. So what I'm talking about here is, for lack of a better term, teacher's pet syndrome. AKA, there's a benign envy existing in both of these characters. They both, in a sense, have a trust of authority that otherwise can be manipulated or lead down a bad road. So, for instance, with Aqua in Birth by Sleep, right? You had that trust in authority with Master Ericus, and that, in a sense, she got in her head about being a Keyblade Master, doing as Ericus told her to do, follow Terra, right? Follow Terra. And all it did was push Terra and Ventus away. So again, Aqua, in a sense, for lack of a better term, being overly trusting in authority and, in a sense, indulging in her own sense of authority only led to pushing Terra and Ventus further away from her in Birth by Sleep. Right? And Xehanort knew how to manipulate that. He knew how to sow seeds of doubt using this flaw within Aqua because she just wanted to do as the master told her. Like, there's even a point, there's a scene between the three of them where Aqua like scolds Terra and says, is that what the master told you to do? So again, you see that, and all it did was push them further and further away. And then when we turn to Invi, what we see is someone who's perhaps has the most loyalty to authority. And again, let's be clear about this. Having loyalty to an authority figure is not innately a flaw, right? If you're a pupil and you have a good sensei, trusting that authority can be a virtue, that kind of loyalty, that kind of faith. But if it's placed in the wrong places, right? If it's placed in the wrong places or is overly indulged, it can lead to a problem. We've explained how this happens with Aqua. But now let's talk how this manifests with Invi. With Invi, we see it two ways. When the master is bestowing her role onto her, you get a sense of anxiety, right? Because she's going, hey, wait a minute, you're telling me you may not be around, Luciu won't be around? She even says, that's a little unnerving, right? The authority figures not being around to her, not being there to lead, not being there to guide, she found that very unnerving. And then essentially, Ira became the new leader, right? And then what you saw from Invi is because Ira was the new leader, she was willing to spy on her fellow Foretellers on behalf of that authority. So again, when we look at these two characters, we see that same sort of flaw, that same sort of overindulgence in loyalty to an authority figure get them into trouble and push each other further away. Aqua doing that on behalf of Ericus only pushed Ventus and Terra further away. Invi doing that on behalf of Ira only pushed Aced and Gula and Ava further away. So when I observe that same pattern between the two wielders, I can't help, I really can't help but think that these two are 100% destined to clash in that way. Also, both of them are high quality wielders. I'm willing to bet a battle between these two would be a spectacle to behold. And then there's the talk of bloodlines, right? Wouldn't Ira also qualify for that? Don't you worry, Rudacris. Don't you worry, my man. We're going to talk Ira today. We're going to talk Ira today. Don't you worry. But before I get into the bloodlines, another swig, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Bloodlines. We don't have a lot to dictate who's part of what bloodline outside of characters like Xehanort and Ericus. But to think the buck is going to stop with them, I think would be a little bit naive when it comes to the outlook of the Kingdom Hearts series. So the question, would Invi and Aqua be part of the same bloodline? I'd say there's maybe a chance. You know how they say you inherit your family's generational curses. This blind loyalty to authority could be, in a sense, the generational curse that Aqua inherited, and in a sense, her overcoming it through Fragmentary Passage and Kingdom Hearts 3 could be what makes her an adversary to Invi, and hopefully, well, I won't say hopefully because I'm all for what makes the best story, but in a sense, maybe Aqua can save Invi, or maybe Aqua could show Invi that there's another way, or explain to her, hey, I made the same mistake once. So it would just be interesting to see those two characters interact. I think they're most assuredly destined to clash. But let me pull up another one that I actually am pretty certain of, not 100%, but let's pull it up. And that's going to be Ava and Kairi, which we've done an entire podcast episode on this, so I'm not gonna hang on this one for too long. But we will reiterate. One second. Ah, I unmuted. Anyway, hello from Greece. Hello, Gior from Greece. Hello. We have an international podcast here, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Ava and Kairi. So like I said, I've done a whole podcast about this. So if you want a really in-depth dive about how these two characters are connected, I suggest you check that out. But we actually have some new info that I think gives credence to the idea these two characters are connected, they'll match up, and maybe they'll clash. Though I think it's more likely they end up working together. But we'll see. So here's one thing that I noticed, right? So when I'm talking about different Guardians clashing with different Foretellers, keep in mind that Ava is in Quadratum. Kairi is in, let's just call it base reality, right? Non-fiction, reality, whatever. You get the point. Point being, we all know Kairi's destined for Quadratum. So whereas Aqua doesn't really have an incentive to go to Quadratum, right? When we look at our previous matchup, Aqua and Invi, Aqua doesn't really have an incentive to go to Quadratum yet. Invi doesn't really have an incentive to go to Quadratum yet. So when I see that, I go, okay, Invi and Aqua clashing is more likely because when I look at their motivations, their incentives, and their outlook, neither one of them is walking the paved road to Quadratum yet. We're one trailer away from any of that being different, one cutscene away from any of that being different. But we gotta go on what we have, right? The stronger foundation we're setting on, the better our predictions and theories can be. That said, we know full well Kairi is headed for Quadratum, or at the very least, she has a desire to head towards Quadratum. So what that tells me is that she's not long for the Kingdom Hearts reality. She is paving her way towards unreality. So I think that inevitably, her and Ava will clash, cooperate, match up. I think something between the two of them is inevitable. And we all know the fan theories that Ava could be Kairi's grandma and stuff like that. Point being, this has been one of the more popular matchups among the Foretellers and Guardians. And I think when you look at things like temperament and color scheme, right? Invi and Aqua both have a sort of bluish palette. Kairi and Ava both have a sort of pink-like palette. And again, sort of their temperament is very similar as well. Invi and Aqua have a similar temperament. Ava and Kairi have a similar temperament. So when you line all of that up, you see how the clash is compatible. But when we consider that what we saw from the trailer is that Ava is likely the hooded figure in the new trailer, she's likely already in Quadratum. Kairi has a motivation and an agenda to make her way to Quadratum. They even foreshadowed that in Melody of Memory. So I think some kind of clash between these two characters is 100% inevitable. These are two of the ones I feel the strongest about. Invi Aqua, Kairi Ava. From there, things get, I won't say more complicated, but maybe just a little less certain. Let's go right here. And by the way, you'll notice that when I match up a lot of these Guardians with the Foretellers, I'm resting heavily on the Birth by Sleep trio. And a lot of that actually comes from maybe some behind-the-curtain statements or behind-the-scenes statements made by Nomura, because we know now that originally Roxas and Xion were not in the original script for Kingdom Hearts 3. The original script for Kingdom Hearts 3 did not have Roxas, did not have Xion. But Nomura did see what fan favorites they were and thought of a way that they could rope them back in. So the reason why I've always said you could expect Roxas and Xion's roles to be limited is because whatever Nomura is planning, they weren't a part of that original plan. Doesn't mean they can't be expanded on, can't add depth, won't have a role to play, so to speak. But in truth, whatever the big plan is in Nomura's head, Roxas and Xion aren't essential to it. So that's why I'm hesitant to match them up with any Foretellers, despite the fact that they are on the Kingdom Hearts side of reality. We'll get to them maybe later in the episode, because I do have a soft theory about what's going to go on with Axel, Roxas, and Xion. But with that out of the way, let's stick here. And this is why I focus on the Birth by Sleep trio, because it's very clear to me, especially when you consider Ventus, right, with Union Cross, when you consider Aqua, going to train Kairi, when you consider Terra. There's clearly a plan for the Birth by Sleep characters in a way that there isn't for Roxas and Xion. So just wanted to get that out of the way as we continue on. Here we have Terra and Aced, who again, these are two other characters that are more similar in temperament, tend to be overzealous, right? They're sort of this jealousy. So like compare Terra's jealousy that Aqua became a master. It doesn't even have to be jealousy, right? It could be his insecurity that Aqua became a master and he didn't. And compare it to Aced's insecurity that Ira got to be leader and he didn't. And this is again what I mean, where it's like we see these characters' flaws matching each other. We see their sins and their virtues matching each other. That overzealousness, that insecurity that may be a jealousy. Again, where Aqua got to be the master, Terra didn't. Ira got to be the leader, Aced didn't. But still, what did Terra and Aced do? They followed their own path. They went their own way. So again, when I look at the two of them, I see a similarity. I see a matchup. And again, their frame, this is the other thing too, is when you consider the size of these characters. Aqua and Invi, similar frame, similar temperament. Ava and Kairi, similar frame, similar temperament. Terra and Aced, similar frame, similar temperament. Their sins and their virtues matching up. And again, for those who may be new here, do not forget that the Foretellers are all named after the 7 deadly sins. And their sins coincide with their matching virtues. Done a whole series on that as well. But honestly, it's a topic I think I'm going to revisit again. Because we're finally starting to get more out on these characters. And I couldn't be more excited. They both struggle with darkness and anger. This is kind of what I mean. You're seeing the vision. You're seeing the vision. And cheers to that. Oh, yeah. Out of both secondary trios, Lee and Ventus are most likely to become more important characters with the Union Cross and Subject X stuff. Could not agree with you more. Could not agree with you more. They're going to be the standouts from those trios. Usagioni says Roxas and Shion deserve a break anyway. They most certainly do. I will not weep for them if they have to sit on the sidelines. Ava might be the one who's responsible for what happened to Nameless Star. Noct, you are right on it, bro. You're right on it. That's another thing that may come up later in this episode. This is where we're at, guys. I have so many things written down. I have so many ideas that I don't know how many podcasts we're going to need for me to get through all of them. But you know what? We'll get there one by one. And they're Earth types. Yes, sir. And now, here's another one. This one, I will admit, of all the matchups, this is the one I'm a little more uncertain about. So if there's any alternative ideas out there, I would be welcome to it. But I'm a little bit hesitant about this matchup, though I do think it makes sense. It does tend to match everything that we've been talking about, just not as well. Ladies and gentlemen, can we give a shout out to, who do we got here? Here is $5, who says, here is $5. Abe Lincoln himself comes back from the dead, drops the $5 on the table, moonwalks up out of the room. Gangster stuff. So thank you very much. Here is $5. Thank you for your message. Here is $5. And thank you very much for the $5. I'm floored at the consistency of depth that your actions and your identity and your profile picture all thread through. You should be very proud of yourself. Here is $5. Thank you for the $5. But now let's talk Gula. Let's talk Gula, okay? So, in a sense, we see with Gula, similar frame, right? Similar frame, similar temperament. And consider this. This is the thing about Ventus that I don't think is talked about, right? So he's a pure light, right? He is a heart of light, but he also has a thing for anger. There's that you got the angry look down. Why is it every time I see your face, I see his? You know, he's got the angry look. And if you can recall from back cover, like, Gula's kind of an angry guy. You know, he's not as outwardly angry as like Aced, but like Gula's an angry guy. You know what I mean? He has a little bit of a vengeful temperament in him a little bit. But again, with Gula, his issue more so was his gluttony for the light. That's really what Gula's issue was. He became obsessed with collecting Lux, and his actions only further amplified the Keyblade War. Everyone was gathering Lux for themselves. Gula was a major part of that. He even vocalized his desire to hoard as much Lux as possible, and that it was his goal to summon Kingdom Hearts, despite the fact that Kingdom Hearts is forbidden. Landy, look at Gula's official render versus Sora. We've done this before. I know they both do the hand on the hip with the blade down. Sora is a good alternative, right? But I don't think Sora's going to have the overlap with Gula. It's not a bad alternative. But Sora's not as angry as Gula, whereas Ventus can be, right? The angry look down. But I will leave it at that. Like I said, this one is a little bit more, as you could tell, a little bit more loose compared to the others. But I want to end on one that I hadn't thought about until lately, which is why I haven't done this particular theory yet, because I didn't know what to land on Ira. I didn't know how to land on Ira. I've seen a lot of people say that it could be Riku, right? But I don't think that's an accurate. It just never sat right with me, the idea that Ira and Riku could be overlapped. And then when I consider that Ira is on our side of reality, but that Riku's on the other side, without the incentive for Ira to go there, I just don't see how the two of them would clash. But hear me out on this one. Hear me out on this one. Lauriam and Ira. So let's start here, right? And I'll take you on a little bit, Sick Breeze. You said it must connect with Riku, I think. I'll tell you why I think Lauriam's a better fit. Riku's not a leader. Ira was named leader. Here's two things about Ira we're going to point out. He's a leader, and his sin is wrath, right? Ira is basically inspired by the Latin word for wrath. So he has a wrath, and we see a little bit of that in the Keyblade War where he's looking for Gula. He's trying to hunt down Gula. And there's more to it than that, but just roughly speaking. So these are the two things I want to point out about him. He's a leader and a tendency for wrath, with the virtue being like a patience, with the virtue being a mercy, rather. Lauriam, if you recall, in Chain of Memories, what is he doing? He's staging a coup. He's a leader. Lauriam, like Ira, is a natural leader. He naturally fell into the role. He's staging a coup in Chain of Memories. And then when you go back to Daybreak Town, he's named one of the Dandelions too. So you see a sort of overlap there, where Lauriam is this leader figure, or at least tries to be a leader figure. He has his own motives. Just, again, same point with Ira. But just like with Ira, even though they fall into this leadership role, their leadership falls short. And they have traitors among their midst who they couldn't sniff out in time. Axel, Lushu. So you see how these two have a similarity that isn't the most obvious. J-Dog the Scientist. Oop, I clicked it on the wrong one. J-Dog the Scientist says, replaying Kingdom Hearts 1, and in Wonderland, Alice mentioned she got there by falling into a rabbit hole. Could she have fallen into the Kingdom Hearts universe from Quadratum? Great question, J-Dog the Scientist. If I'm not mistaken, that's actually just canon to the film. Is Alice fell down the like in the film Alice in Wonderland, Alice got to Wonderland by falling down a rabbit hole. And the reason why Wonderland is the first world we ever get to is because it really is, in a lot of ways, the best comparison to Kingdom Hearts among the Disney canon. It is about a character like Sora, a kid falling down a rabbit hole into this wild wonderland that he can hardly make sense of. And it's trippy, and it's beautiful, and it can be as heartwarming as it is horrifying. It's this big psychedelic fairy tale where you got to piece it all together. So spiritually, Wonderland and Kingdom Hearts are very similar, and I always liked that was the first world we went to. Don't let anybody tell you that these Disney worlds are random, okay? There is a rhyme and reason behind most of them. Maybe not all. Okay, so now back to Lauriam and Ira. Like we said, there's not only that leadership value, there is the wrath. There is the wrath. And if you can remember Lauriam, remember when so Ira with the wrath, we pointed that out. Ira is the Latin word for wrath. But go to Lauriam. How did Lauriam react when he found out Ventus killed Strelitzia? He wanted to fucking get Ven. The wrath took over Lauriam. We saw him want to just enact his wrath on Ventus in that moment, even though it's not Ventus's fault. And anyone in a logical, sound mind would know it's not Ventus's fault. But just like Ira, Lauriam became susceptible to that desire for wrath. And that's what we see of him in Union Cross when he finds out about Ventus. So, again, when I see these two, I think there's just more of an overlap here than there is with Riku. But let's give Siri 785 in the chat their due. They're saying Ira is the Master's Chosen as Riku is the Keyblade Chosen. So here's the thing. That lines up until you realize the Kingdom Key is no longer choosing Riku. You know? So like if Ira's Keyblade left him for a Sed, then maybe we could start to play with that paradigm. But I don't think Sora and Riku are meant to be a part of the Foretellers sort of situation here. You know? But we'll see. We shall see. ZS Lawrence says, hey, yo, this is my first stream, but I left my first comment on the 4 Factions videos. Well, welcome, everybody. Can we welcome Z's Lawrence? I mean, with a name like that, you are 100% in the right place, my friend. Let me tell you. Okay, Mr. K. Fulton says, I like where you're headed with this discussion, Landy. I have a similar mindset, but instead of fighting their parallel, I feel everyone is going to fight their opposites personality idea-wise. Interesting. Interesting. So you would think that Terra would fight Ira, Lauriam would fight Aced, maybe Kairi would fight Gula, Ventus would fight Ava. I mean, maybe. You'd have to lay that out to me. It's not clicking. I mean, it's clicking a little bit, but not a whole lot. Okay. All right, shit. I always need anime recommendations. You know? You know what show I really, I mean, I always recommend the same anime, so I'm going to recommend something different for once. I recommend everybody give Frieren a shot. Frieren is one of my favorite, like, new anime. Spy Family and Frieren, I will say. Those are, like, my two, when it comes to, like, new age anime, those are, like, my two favorites. Are we ready for this? Are we ready for this? I was already ready to jump into the next theory, but I guess let me just round this theory off before we jump into the Sora Trinity, which you guys just got a little sneak peek of. But again, when it comes to the Foretellers, I think they are some of the most exciting characters in all of Kingdom Hearts. I think there's a lot to them. I've watched back cover so many times because it's so enjoyable, and it's really cool to see. It's really cool to see a group of characters not trust each other and interact. You know, a lot of the interactions in Kingdom Hearts can be cut and dry. Characters know who they, like, for instance, like the Guardians of Light, they all know they can trust each other. It very rarely gets contentious. But to see a group of characters that otherwise would be grouped as friends be contentious with one another was just very cool to watch. Very cool. Take another little swig here, ladies and gentlemen, and we will keep this party rolling. Thanks for hanging out, by the way. You know, it's Saturday afternoon. There's a million shows just like mine. Lots of things you could be watching on the internet. Y'all are here. Don't think for 1 minute that I take it for granted. Cheers to you all. Jav20 says, you forgot Lushu and Master of Masters. Well, here's the problem. We could do Lushu, him with lust, but I think Lushu's becoming obvious. I think with Lushu, his counterpart is Luxord. I think that one's been spelled out to us. But when it comes to Master of Masters, here's the thing. I've always felt this way about the Master. You know, I did my whole Sins of the Foretellers series, the Foretellers Virtues, and I did all 6 of them, right? But I always leave out the Master, because I'm still not convinced that the Master is one of the 7 deadly sins. I'm not convinced. He might be. In the way the other Foretellers are the 7 deadly sins, he might be. But until we know the Master's name, I'm not acting on it. I actually think it's very possible Vanitas is a secret Foreteller. That's what I think. I think it's very possible that Vanitas is a secret Foreteller, because if you go through them all, right? Invi is envy. Ira is wrath. Gula is gluttony. Ava is greed. Aced is sloth. Lushu is lust. The sin that we're missing is pride. So that the name would have to mean pride. So some people have theorized, you know, like myself even, have theorized that the Master's name could be Superbia, because Superbia would be the Latin word for pride. But do you know what another word for pride is? Vanity. And do you know the root word for Vanitas' name is vanity? It is possible that Vanitas is a true darkness, right? That the Master had a part in manifesting, for lack of a better term. Because that name Vanitas, again, the root word being vanity, a simile to pride, it could be a coincidence, but it also does match up with the Foretellers' names. I'm not saying it's a fact. I'm calling it a soft theory, because it's just a naming scheme that happens to fit. And then when we think of the Master's plan with the true darknesses, it becomes peculiar. You can read the super on the box. Yeah, this is why I think one of my running theories for Black Box is that the Master's heart could be in the Black Box. And it's funny, right? We were supposed to do Black Box theories this week. I had to move that to next week. But we will do Black Box theories next week, because I think few things have changed now. A few things have changed. Isn't super key on the Black Box? Yeah, it's possible that the 7th Foreteller is in the Black Box. It could be the Master's heart. It could be a way to summon Vanitas, right? What if it's a way to summon Vanitas into Quadratum, or to bring him back? What if it's holding the true darknesses? What if it's holding the Master's body, right? What if the Master is a form without a body and his body is in the box? We don't know. It's one of the most exciting mysteries in Kingdom Hearts. Do it next week. We'll do it next week. Don't you worry. The black box contains my Pokemon card collection. You know, I still have mine. I still have my Pokemon cards. Never got rid of them. I mean, as you can see, I don't really get rid of anything. Anything that I like. Alrighty. Let me just finish this up and then we'll move on to the next one. Lucio did say it contains hope. Yeah. And to me, that immediately lines up with Pandora's box. The myth of Pandora's box is, you know, the box opens and all the evils of the world fly out of the box, but what stays in the box at the very bottom is hope. But the question is, hope for who? Hope for who? Right? BJ Games? Hope for the Master? Hope for his old world? Hope for the Foretellers? Hope for Daybreak Town? Who? Because we have a lot of conflicting factions in Kingdom Hearts now, so the question now begs, who does the box contain hope for? Tune in next week. Cage Guides, my man, says, what about your Kingdom Hearts trading card game cards? Never got rid of those either, but if I am admitting, I do have a lot more Pokemon cards than I do Kingdom Hearts cards. Fake fan, I know, busted, caught in 4K. What can I say? All right. So, I want to talk about the next theory. What I'm calling, I suppose, Sora's Trinity. Talked about this a little bit on the last episode. We're going to talk about it here again today. Sora's Trinity, which I don't... In real time, I'm going to figure out what to make of this. I have some notes, but I still have not reached my conclusion. Maybe we can all reach it together in some kind of crazy hive mind. Guide says, honestly, same. I mean, come on, man. I mean, those old school Pokemon cards. What a time to live. Alrighty. So, interesting thought. And you know what? Let me back this up a little bit first. Let me back up this idea first. Okay? Before we get too out of hand. All right? Check it. So, Dream Drop Distance. Riku had the Dream Eater symbol all over him. And in a sense, whether you want to take it symbolically, literally, became Sora's Dream Eater. Right? And which way do I have to go? Where are you? Kairi, if we look at Kairi's outfit, she's got the Chirithy ears on the back of her outfit. And then when we think, right? So, for instance, it's not just the clothes. It's not just the clothes. Let's start with Riku. With Riku, he had the Dream Eater symbol on his back, and when we go back over Dream Drop Distance, we see how dreams were a major part of his character arc, how he became the Dream Eater in Sora's dreams, protecting him. It wasn't just clothing, it was foreshadowing to his role. And then when we look at Kairi with the Chirithy ears on the hood, we think of KH4 and Remind, where she went to the final world with Sora, and Chirithy not only played a key role in reuniting the two of them, right? But that she, in a sense, reunited Chirithy with Ventus. So that we see how Dream Eaters played into Riku's story, we see how Chirithy's play into Kairi's story. And again, who knows, maybe we get to the end of the line and it all gets quite literal, but I think the best way to approach this is through symbolism. That Riku symbolically is a Dream Eater. Kairi symbolically is like a Chirithy. Not that they are literally that. Although, who knows? I'm not going to put anything past them. Not going to put anything past what happens here. But you see my point. So again, when we see Riku in Dream Drop Distance, direct interactions and character arc involving Dream Eaters. When we look at Kairi in Kingdom Hearts 3 and Remind, direct interactions and character arc involving Chirithy. And then, now that we're done here, this one we have a little bit less proof for. We see Yozora with the red eye like a nightmare. A red eye, like a nightmare. And what is our basis for building on that? The fact that Yozora is interacting with everybody in a dream realm, right? So when he's dreaming of Sora, right? He's sleeping in the back of the car in the limit cut, and he's dreaming of Sora and battling Sora in this dream realm. Likewise, Riku is having dreams of Quadratum where Yozora's watching him from the tower. So we see Yozora having this ability to interface within dreams, shout out verses 13, and he's got a red eye like a nightmare. And by the way, if you fought Yozora as a boss battle, yeah, nightmare's a good way to put it. Nightmare's a pretty damn good way to put it. Let me make this a little bigger on here. Okay. Sora and Yozora both mean sky, one day, and one night. So those two are connected to the one true sky. One sky, one destiny. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And that's what's interesting. Because you know what I'm starting to think? FF10 fans out there will understand me a little bit more than others. So, if Riku is the Dream Eater, Yozora is the Nightmare, and Kairi is the Chirithy, symbolically, right? What does that make Sora? Is Sora like Tidus? Does that make Sora the Dream? You know? You guys know what I'm saying? And Sora's always been an anomaly. Let's remember that. The same way Tidus is an anomaly in Spira, Sora, in a lot of ways, is an anomaly in the Kingdom Hearts world. Right? So again, if Kairi's the Chirithy, Yozora's the Nightmare, and Riku's the Dream Eater, Sora has to be the Dream. But Sora is just Sky. The day sky would be Ayazora, blue sky in Japanese. We're missing someone. I don't necessarily think so. Because, for instance, Yozora being the Nightmare doesn't make him different than the fact that he's night sky as well. You know what I'm saying? Is any of this for real or not? And again, if you've played FF10 and you know what's up with Tidus and his fate and what he is, I'm starting to wonder if Sora operates under a similar function. And maybe that's why in Destiny Islands, like the first Final Fantasy characters you run into are, well, selfies there, but FF10 with Tidus and Wakka. And again, selfies there. Shout out to Selfie. But dreams play a big part in FF8 too. And again, let's take it one step further. If Yozora's the Nightmare, and Sora and Yozora are like two sides of the same coin, right? Sora is a day sky. Yozora is a night sky. If Yozora is a nightmare, then Sora being a dream would also make sense. Sora is always sleepy, isn't he? Isn't he? So you see how that can line up too? Where if Yozora truly is like symbolic or emblematic of the nightmare, then just like he's night sky to Sora's day sky, Sora would be the good dream to his nightmare. Because again, and let me say, we can be dead certain about Riku as the Dream Eater and Kairi as the Chirithy. We can be dead certain of that. Again, not just from their clothing outright showing us, but from their character arcs interacting with those elements as well. Yozora withholding, right? We're seeing a lot of pieces lining up for Yozora. The red eye, the fact we're really only seeing him in a dream realm, interacting with Sora in dreams. I don't know, man. I wouldn't know FF10. Most of my FF knowledge is 15 and 7. If you love turn-based combat, there are few games you can play better than FF10. But that's just my opinion. So again, when I look at these four rather, because at the end of the day, all roads lead to Sora. All roads lead to Sora. F and Landy, we got to spin the opening. That makes me want to see the KH1 opening again. Yeah, maybe I could pull that up. Let's, you know what? Let's pull it up. Let's pull up the KH1 opening. I'll have to mute it when the music comes in, but we can pull that up. We can pull that up. A lot of openings had cast falling out of the sky. You know, and one thing I always thought too is that Sora could be Kingdom Hearts in the flesh. Like I've always kind of had that idea too, that maybe Sora is just Kingdom Hearts itself, but in the flesh. But this idea that he's the dream, that he's like the dream itself, is not as far-fetched as I once thought. I will say that. So check this out. We'll pull up the, let's go. Let's pull up the old opening. I'll have to mute it before the music comes in, but let's hear this out now. Oh, let me make sure the sound is on for you guys. One sec. Beautiful. Let's let it run. We'll pull up another side, another story after this, too. Don't worry.
I've been having these weird thoughts lately. Like, is any of this for real? Or not?
And again, such a peculiar line to open a series with, and that we've seen dreams play such a big role now. You almost have to wonder, because Square Enix's philosophy with a lot of their storytelling, particularly that with Nomura and Nojima, who are responsible for Kingdom Hearts, FF7, FF10, FF13, just to name a few, there's this sort of idea that everyone is a world unto themselves. Kingdom Hearts conceptualizes this with people's hearts. Inside people's hearts, everyone is a world unto themselves. I almost wonder if everything we're watching, maybe Kingdom Hearts itself is dreaming to protect itself or something. I don't know. Just a random idea. But let's pull up another side, another story now. Now that we've enjoyed going over the KH1 opening lines again, let's pull up another side, another story. This takes me back this takes me back, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Let me run that in the back. Okay. Right? Another side, another story, which again, now that we've come this far, we can say with certainty that this was alluding to Quadratum the whole time. Now, I know there are some people who will always, there's no convincing them, they'll always think Nomura is just making it all up as he goes along. Whereas people like me believe there has been a plan from the beginning. And certainly there are some things that change, some things get retconned, he changes his mind on some ideas. But this idea of Quadratum and the world of fiction and another side, another story, to me, was always part of the plan. I'm just going to mute it so we don't get struck down. So, utter silence. It's actually been a little while since I've seen this. A world without... Okay, a fragmented tale. A world without you. The eyes will close. Okay, hold on. Let me move this over so you guys could see. I didn't even realize how prophetic this was. I didn't even realize how prophetic all of this is. Hey, yo, shout out to Ruda Chris with a $5 super chat. Says not to be a Donnie Downer, but isn't Chirithy just a type of Dream Eater? And who's Nightmare Chirithy? Also, the text intro to the Toy Box trailer. Not being a downer at all. Is a Chirithy a type of Dream Eater? I will plead ignorance on that. A type of Dream Eater? I don't think so, because you don't have to be asleep. Chirithys can be in the waking life. I mean, no, Meow Wow can be in the waking life, so let me chill on that. Never mind. Take it a step back. I don't know. I don't think Chirithys are Dream Eaters. They don't have the Dream Eater symbol on them. So, we'll see. I don't think so. If anyone in the chat has anything to offer, I don't think Chirithys are a type of Dream Eater. I might be wrong. Someone feel free to correct me. But let's get back into this. So check this out. A fragmented tale, a world without you, the eyes will close. So look, a world without you is right over the message in a bottle that washed up on shore in the Realm of Darkness Beach. This is just the ending of Kingdom Hearts 2. So when I see this, a world without you, this is clearly talking about Kairi. This is Kairi. You require motivation. Psst. The whole motivation was always going to involve Sora and Kairi being in these separate worlds. The end of the Pirates of the Caribbean world may ring a bell. So again, a world without you, that is clearly in reference to Kairi. A fragmented tale. The eyes will close. Let's keep it going. Wait for the next texts. Oh my god. The aura. The aura. Oh wait. I missed that last line. Something so natural. You see the symbol on their back when the player picks them up at the fountain. If anyone can pull up a picture of that, I would like to pull that up so we could verify. Something so natural. Oh, I put the music back on. The aura. The aura. The memory beyond. Dude, I'm sorry. They just don't make these like they used to. Loro's got it. Loro's got it. Okay. Because that actually does make me think. Let's pull this up. Oh, you're right. Yo, check it. Check it. I learned something today. You are right. The Dream Eater symbol is on the back of the Chirithy. Interesting. Okay, new context. Let's look over this again now. With the new context. So, hear me out. This actually, you know what? This actually to me makes it better. No, to me, this actually makes it better. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, oh my god, I actually love this now. Oh my god. Let me take a swig. Where's my freaking drink? 1 second. Oh my god. You guys are the best. See, this is why I like workshopping these theories in real time. It was covered up by the drip. Lauro, get cooking. I'll heat up the stove. I'll get the stove heated up. You start cooking. So check it out, guys. Okay, so this makes perfect sense to me. Because, yeah, if Riku is a Dream Eater in one sense for Sora, then of course Kairi would be too. And now this creates a parallel between Riku and Kairi in the same sense, right? They're both... Here, let me move this over. I didn't realize. Let me move this over. Okay. There we go. All right, Loro's on it already, says, I legitimately think that the anti-black coat was Dark Chirithy. They have the same eyes and similar abilities. They both poison in their boss fights. Similar aesthetics with the red horns. He says, I'll see you in another dream. And Dream Drop Distance is in a dream. What's stumping me, though, is that would imply the player reincarnates into Riku, but also the player's Chirithy was with them in the scene, so maybe Riku is the player's Chirithy? But also, both Riku and the anti-black coat have the Dream Eater symbol on their back. Okay. I will say, in regard to Riku being the player's Chirithy, that's a bit of a tough sell for me. But everything you're saying about the anti-black coat, I'm following you. Ryan, my man Ryan, with a $10 super chat. My man says, I believe the theory that the world of Kingdom Hearts is a dream world / world of fiction, and Quadratum is reality. Kingdom Hearts itself is the shared subconscious of people in reality. I would actually love that. If you have anything more to back that up, I would love that, because I think there's something about that works. You know, when we look at the world of fiction, It quite literally looks like a non-fictional realm. The art style reflects a non-fictional realm. I kind of like your idea that we may have this backwards, and the Kingdom Hearts may indeed, like you're saying, be a dream world, which might play into the whole Sora being a dream himself. Okay. But check this. Check this. So if Riku and Kairi, one being a Dream Eater, one being symbolically a Chirithy, the point being they're both like guardians to Sora. In a sense, they're both like guardians to Sora. Guardians of his soul, guardians of his heart, and they both now mirror one another, right? Riku's a Dream Eater, got it on his back. Kairi is the Chirithy, got it on her hood. Chirithys are a type of Dream Eater, but perhaps a special type of Dream Eater, which again makes me think when a lot of the time the story has told us, characters have said that Kairi is the person most special to Sora. So again, when you see Chirithys, that's like somebody's special Dream Eater, in a sense. When we think about Dream Eaters and Chirithys and wielders having them, that's kind of like the first thing I see is like, okay, that's your unique Dream Eater. That's your special Dream Eater. And again, we're talking about symbolism here, not literal. We're not saying Kairi is literally a Chirithy. We're not saying Riku is literally one of these Dream Eaters, but that functionally they both serve that purpose when they're protecting Sora in his sleep. There it is. That's what I'm looking for. They both protect Sora in his sleep. Riku protects Sora in his sleep. We see it in Dream Drop Distance. Kairi protects Sora in his sleep. We see that in Chain of Memories. We see that at the start of Kingdom Hearts 2. Both have played a role in protecting and restoring Sora while he sleeps. So, taking that, seeing these two line up with one another, makes it even better when Sora and Yozora line up with one another. So we can see Riku and Kairi as these like parallel Dream Eaters, you know, and then we can see Sora as the dream and Yozora as the nightmare. He finally I'm telling Skaz, I see it now. I see it now. I see it now. Okay, can we watch the KH1 reveal trailer? They have interesting quotes at the end. Okay. Want to hear something to bring this all together? In Union Cross, the player has a Chirithy and a separate Dream Eater. And what have I been theorizing for a long time? That the player is Sora's... that Sora is the player's third life. That Sora is the player's third life. Okay. Let's pull up that KH1 reveal trailer. I hope I'm pulling up the right one, because I feel like there were a number of reveal trailers, but I assume we mean the first one. Let's pull that up. Reveal trailer. Anti-Blackcoat and Dark Chirithy both use the Dread of Night as their boss themes. Wait, really? What is the conventional theory about anti-Blackcoat? Can anyone tell me, before I start digging down that rabbit hole for one of our future episodes about anti-Blackcoat and Dark Chirithy, is there a conventionally believed theory about anti-Blackcoat right now and who he is, what he was? Anybody want to throw that out? We've got ourselves, ladies and gentlemen, another $5 from my man Ryan, who says the power of waking is the ability to wake from the dream world that is, in theory, the world of Kingdom Hearts. Think Neo waking from the Matrix. I would need to see a little bit more from the narrative before I can really buy into that, but I won't deny that there's something compatible about it, Ryan. Power of waking is able to wake from the dream world that is, in theory, the world of Kingdom Hearts. But then I would challenge you, Ryan, why then is the power of waking used to bring people back into the dream world of Kingdom Hearts? Right? It's not like Sora used the power of waking and everyone he used it on woke up in Quadratum, the real world. So I might need you to explain that a little bit further. My conventional theory is Nightmare Trilogy. I've seen people say it's Vanitas. I've always thought he was Sora's darkness. Oh, so this is really up in the air, huh? There's no, like, conventionally settled idea on what anti-Blackcoat was. I think we got to do this. I think it's time to investigate. Maybe not on today's episode because I would want to rewatch everything with the Dark Chirithy. Nightmare Chirithy says, see you in another dream. And then that's right, this is what Laura was talking about earlier. And then we literally see him in Dream Drop Distance in a dream. Yeah, we still have no idea. Insert the random kid speed gift. Okay, then. FF13-2 also had a dream world, and Sarah had to act like a dream eater to wake up Noelle. And again, we know all about the Fabula Nova Crystallis of it all, Keyblade Dragon. So there's another overlap for you. There's definitely going to be a Fabula Nova Crystallis episode in the future, too. No way we can't do that. But this idea that the anti-Blackcoat could be Dark Chirithy, I'm going to do a lot of research. I'm going to build a case for and against it. And I'm going to lay it out on an episode. And we're going to see if we've really tapped into something here. We're going to see if we've really tapped into something here. And maybe along that way, we're able to figure out exactly why Yozora has a red eye like the Nightmares, like the Dark Chirithys. Yozora did say, I was told to save Sora. Well, again, guys, look at the image again. The overlap you're seeing these are the three characters who have interacted with Sora in dreams under the notion of saving or protecting him, right? Because, of course, you've had Lucio interacted with him in dreams, and you've had a lot of the organization members too, but these three have all interacted with him with the notion of saving him, of protecting him, of restoring him, which is why I string them all together like this. Okay. Sorry for the rabbit hole. No, the rabbit hole is what we do. You've just thrown more tinders on the fire. Timbers, excuse me. What if the anti-Blackcoat is darkness for one of the foretellers? Maybe, but we've never seen a formless darkness wear a coat. I think the red eye is more of a thing that gets connected to Versus 13 Noctis. You're technically right, but I think, because this is how, in my opinion, this is what I think Nomura is doing, he's going to thread Kingdom Hearts' lore into that. Right? Because, let's be honest, Versus 13 does not exist. You'll struggle to find someone who's more excited for Versus 13 than I was. I was all over it. I thought it was going to be the greatest work of art in the 21st century. Okay? But with that said, Versus 13 does not exist. So, Yozora's red eye, while there will be inspiration from Versus 13, while it is a reimagining of a lot of the ideas from Versus 13, I do believe the lore will be threaded through Kingdom Hearts lore in a way that's recognizable to Versus 13, but is still very true to Kingdom Hearts. Oh boy, our connection's looking a little weak. We're back up. Okay, good. We are at the point where if the internet knocks us out, I'm going to let this episode stand. Even though I do have a few more ideas, actually. Let me make sure I got to all of them. Okay, we definitely talked to this one already. We're in the middle of this one. I had two more other ones, but we'll see. I might have to save those. But, okay, also landed, we have a nice first-time message on Twitch. Let's check it out. We got a first message from Elias Corp. Says, hi, wild thought here. Master of Masters was too afraid to take off the coat. Therefore, young Xehanort was taken over by the sin of pride, let's say. Reference to shift pride and misunderstanding of it in Union Cross scenes. And Sora, who's used to needing his friends, but now tries to save everyone on his own, KH3 ending with Xehanort accepting defeat reference, is going to be taken over by pride and needs Yozora to save him from it. You know, I genuinely believe, and maybe this is what you're getting at, by the way, welcome to the stream, Elias Corp. I hope I'm saying that right. Welcome to the stream. I think ultimately the whole Yozora save Sora angle, and you know what, maybe we'll switch to the trailer. The whole save Sora angle, I think is about keeping him from the Master. I think the Master has plans for Sora to use him like a puppet in the same way the organization wanted to. Because I think it's not even about Sora. It's about the Kingdom Key. Or it's about the Keyblade that Xehanort bestowed upon him. So I think saving him, crystallizing him, is a way to usurp whatever the Master's planning. Because whatever the Master's planning, he needs Sora, and he needs Sora in Quadratum. Okay. Now, give me 1 second. Take another swig. Alrighty. Okay. My theory was from someone saying the closer you get to the light, the greater your shadow grows. So I was thinking of anti-Blackcoat with Sora's Darkness Heartless that's been building strength. I always kind of thought that was Darkseid. That's why Darkseid seems to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And maybe I'm wrong about the scale, but at least to me, when I look at KH4, that seems like the biggest he's ever been. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm projecting that, but I think that's what it's more alluding to. This whole knowing we're asleep, so it's fine if he tunes us up, is really funny to think about. I think I'm a little bit lost on that message, Suko Bars. But all right, let's keep this going. I guess the last thing... Oop, let me put that back up. The last thing I would say, just to round out the Sora's Trinity theory, again, pointing out Riku and Kairi are the Dream Eaters, one a Chirithy, one a more conventional Dream Eater, and Yozora is the Nightmare. Seemingly, does that make Sora the Dream? And if you played through FF10, you might know where they're going with this. And, I mean... the implications for what that would mean for Unreality, mind-blowing. Definitely the biggest he's been. Yeah, that's when I see that quote, the closer you get to light, the larger your shadow becomes. And look, a lot of the times the light can be a synonym for truth, right? A lot of the times light can be a synonym for truth, right? To shine a light on the truth, or to be left in the dark is like to be lied to and stuff, or to be away from the truth is like to be in the dark about something. So you see this sort of idea that like light can be truth, dark can be not even just lies, but just being distant from the truth. So the closer you get to the light, the greater your shadow becomes. Almost makes me think like the closer we're getting to the truth of Kingdom Hearts, the bigger the threat of darkness is becoming, right? You have that sort of escalation of threat, that the closer you're getting to the truth, the more unhinged the chaos will be. Don't forget the KH1 reveal trailer. That's right. I did have that like halfway pulled up. Okay. It's the announcement trailer, I take it? Yeah. That's the same thing. Perfect. Okay. Let's pull this up. Remember, player also had his darkness. Yeah, it's another point. Player also had his darkness, and NM Chirithy also seemed to be a regular Chirithy when we first see it. It wasn't until player got angry at Ava was when NM Chirithy appeared. Nightmare Chirithy. Took me a second. It wasn't until player got angry at Ava that Nightmare Chirithy appeared. Okay, so then... Okay, so... if Nightmare Chirithy is connected to player... This all just makes me think about the player and Sora, there being some kind of overlap between the two. But let's pull up this KH1 reveal trailer. It seems as though something that I'm talking about keeps alluding to this. You guys want me to pull it up. So let's see what we got here. Can we really assume the dark side is the biggest it's ever been since the first time we got some real background to make a comparison? You know what might be a good way to compare? By scale. 1 second. Kingdom Hearts... Dark Side. Dark Side fight. Let me see if I could do this by scale for a second. Yeah. Listen. No, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it. Oh, 1 second. Wrong button. Where are we at? Perfect. He's a lot smaller, chat. He is a lot smaller. No, I'm all in on that. Darkseid is growing. Darkseid is growing. The closer you get to light, the greater your shadow becomes. By scale, he used to be a lot smaller. Here, let's actually see if we can get like... 1 second. Yeah. So, like, that scale. Oh, it reset, but you get my point. He used to be a lot smaller in comparison. I'll keep that around in case we want to pull it up again. But oh my goodness. Yeah, he was a lot smaller back then. Even at the start of KH4, he's smaller. Okay. Is this the reveal trailer? No, this is another side, another story. Let me get this out of here. Before having too many tabs, crashes the damn stream. Okay. All right, we got it. He's a growing boy. Yeah, holy shit. Like, that's what I'm saying is he's bigger. He's bigger than he was. Much bigger. It's not the same dark side. All right, keep going. Elaborate. Because I see what you mean. It looks different, but it's still, like, what makes you think that it's two completely different dark sides and not a dark side that's just sort of evolving and changing? I'd be curious. His face is no longer shrouded either. Yeah, he's self-actualizing. Okay. Here, let's put that on pause. Bro, Darkseid is KH Godzilla. He's a kaiju. That's for sure. All right, let's watch the KH1 reveal trailer. You guys keep telling me to pull this up in light of what we're discussing. So let's check it out. What a reveal. What a reveal. Okay. There's a lot going on there. 1 second. We're going to have to slow this down. That's a lot going on there. 1 second. Oh, hell yeah. We got a $5 super chat from a long-time Landy Lodge sicko. Dom says, by virtue of that logic, Sora is getting closer to the Master/Light. Whose shadow is growing? Sora or the Master's? I'm actually going to say the Master. I'm actually going to say Sora. That's Sora's dark side growing. Darkseid is a weapon a la FF7. He's very weapon-sized, that's for sure. Okay, let's go slow. Okay, becoming isolated, independent of others. Oh my goodness, give me a second, guys. I'm gonna have to really look at this. The day is so near yet so far. All right, let's keep this a little further. The power of, I can't see that. The day you will open the door. Don't be afraid. Okay. The power of wizardry. Wow, okay. What are you so afraid of? We'll keep it going. The day you will open the door. What are you so afraid of? What is that you really want to do? What is the power that you have? What's most important to you? This is crazy. But don't be afraid. And don't forget. Is there... No, we're as high quality as we can get. The power of aggression. Wow. You are the one who must open the door. The door is still closed. Oh, whoa. What's this? You are... Something shall begin at dead of night. Okay. I just don't know, is this world for real or not? Okay, I think we can take it up. Now that we're not getting bombarded, we can put it at full speed. Okay. Keep this going. Dude, look at this early footage, bro. It looks so good. It's just nothing like it. All right, I know from the creator of the Final Fantasy series. I know towards the end is where there's more. Okay, shall begin at the dead of night, quite like a dream or a nightmare. You are the one who must open the door. And I guess the question becomes, right? And I guess this whole point of this, because we've been hearing this from the beginning, the whole point of this is clearly the map, because we've been through this for 20 years now, right? And it's not as if Yen Sid is telling him there's a door he has to open. It's not as if Xehanort was telling Sora there's a door he has to open. It's not as if King Mickey, is telling Sora there's a door that has to open. It is quite peculiar that Sora's been told over and over he is the one who must open the door. And, you know, there have been conceptions of this, right? The door to light, the door to Kingdom Hearts, the door to darkness. But we've still never quite gotten to that point where where this seems to be addressed, that you are the one who must open the door. I can't help but think that whatever door is in question, that is for the Master of Masters' benefit. Let's keep this going for just a sec. Let's see what else we land on, okay? Let's see what else we land on. Let me put that down. Right? Here we go. That's right, Sora. Your body, your soul, your whole existence, they're all going to disappear. And this is what I mean, right? This is what I keep telling you guys. Nomura had a plan from the beginning. Nomura had a plan from the beginning. Speaking of having a plan from the beginning. 1 second. 1 second. Give me 1 second, chat. Ugh. There we go. Okay. And we're back. All right. Well, Sora was bequeathed the Keyblade, so maybe he will use it to open Kingdom Hearts. And this is what I'm saying, is like, okay, so who has an interest in opening Kingdom Hearts? And for what purpose? That's where we have to wonder. Obviously, Xehanort had his own purposes, but to what benefit? Why are we opening the door? Again, to what benefit? I can't help but think what the Master of Masters wants to do. He has some interest in the world of fiction in Quadratum. I don't know if he wants to turn it into his own prison. I don't know if he wants to recreate a new Kingdom Hearts, a fictional Kingdom Hearts. I don't know if he wants to merge the worlds. It might be a world merger. I don't know. But I think this whole opening the door thing is something the Master of Masters is going to try and wield on his own behalf. And let's see. Your body, your soul, your whole existence, they're all going to disappear. Again, where my FF10 homies at? Where my FF10 homies at? Sora is I think Sora is the dream. Sora is the day sky, Yozora is the night sky. Sora is the dream, Yozora is the nightmare. Kairi and Riku are the Dream Eaters, Chirithy and Dream Eater. I don't know, man. I'm starting to think Sora is the dream. Not that the world of Kingdom Hearts is a dream or that the story is all a dream. No. That Sora is the dream. Where my FF10 fans at? Okay. Josh Z, Major Sicko here in the lodge, says that I don't know if I believe that Kingdom Hearts is a dream world, but it doesn't explain why people want it so badly. Quadratum being dream world of the dead makes more sense. Sora has crossed between sleep and death. Yeah, this is why I'm thinking it's not that the world of Kingdom Hearts is a dream world. I think Sora is the dream. Or he's a wisp. Or he's like a dream or a wisp of Kingdom Hearts itself. You know what I'm saying? There's like Tidus, technically, that's what Vitrin, yes. In much the same way Tidus was to the faith, maybe Sora is to Kingdom Hearts. Like the actual Kingdom Hearts. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's because, again, and I have to bring it back up. It keeps coming back to this. Okay? We know that Yozora and Sora are a direct mirror of one another. And again, I'll shrink and pull this over. So if the red eye does indicate that there's a nightmare within him or there's something nightmare about him, again, when we consider he's interacting with all these characters in a dreamscape, the nightmare association makes sense. And if he's Night Sky Nightmare, then Yozora would be Day Sky Dream. And then Kairi Riku, both Dream Eaters in their own right, Kairi on a cheer at the end, Riku on a more standard end. If Sora is the dream, it explains why they're like his guardians, why they're his friends, why they're all protecting each other. But anyway, let's get back into this a little bit. You guys are getting my point. I think you guys are picking up what I'm putting down. Tidus is on Destiny Islands. That's what I'm saying too. That's no coincidence. That Tidus is right there at the start of Kingdom Hearts 1. Is any of this for real or not? And again, I remember like some of the oldest Kingdom Hearts theories are that, oh, it's all a dream. It's all Sora's dream. No. Sora is the dream. And maybe Kingdom Hearts is dream. Maybe, oh my God. Maybe the real Kingdom Hearts is asleep and it's dreaming of Sora, because when Sora opens the door to the real Kingdom Hearts will wake up and Sora will disappear. Maybe Master of Master, what's up, Patari, wants Kingdom Hearts to revive his friend's world. We never get a glimpse at anything he lost. Patari, I'd bet a lot of money that's exactly what he wants. I'd bet a lot of money that's exactly what the Master of Masters wants. Great message. Oh my goodness. Because the true Kingdom Hearts is still in darkness. That's what I mean. The actual Kingdom Hearts is sleeping. And it needs to wake up. But if it wakes up, Sora will vanish. And maybe that's why they have to save Sora. Maybe that's what saving Sora is. Hold on. Kairi's grandma, it's the world we live in now, but the true light sleeps deep within the darkness. That's why the worlds are still scattered, divided from each other. But someday, a door to the innermost darkness will open and true light will return. Bam. It's all coming together. Yeah. Kingdom Hearts is asleep. It's in darkness and it's dreaming of Sora, because Sora will be the one to reconnect all the worlds, open the door to the inner darkness, wake up Kingdom Hearts, then his role is fulfilled. And so, that's right, Sora, your body, your soul, your whole existence, they're all going to disappear forever. Something, power of waking. I had a feeling we were on to something. And that's why he's the king. That's why he's the king of Kingdom Hearts. I think we did it. Chat. I think we might have done it. I don't know, chat. You guys tell me. I think there's a chance we might have cracked something big. So, okay. So, let's go further. Let's not even stop here. Okay? Because not only does this line up with Kairi's grandma's words, not only does this line up with the KH4 reveal trailer, not only does this line up with the whole Quadrata mark, not only does this line up with FF10 and Tidus being on the island, and Riku being a Dream Eater, and Kairi being a Cherokee Dream Eater, and Yozora being a Nightmare. I'm gonna take a second and hydrate. 1 second, because we're not gonna stop. We're gonna keep pushing this. It would definitely make the crown necklace he wears make sense. Okay. So let's for a second, let's do a little thought exercise, chat. Okay? Let's do a little thought exercise. So if what we're saying is true, Sora is the king of Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is asleep. Sean Tansey, absolutely. Sora has always been a Christ-like figure in his own story. He is the Phoenix. He dies and is born again. The cycle of death and rebirth. He is the sacrificial hero. 100%. There's also a little bit of King Arthur in Sora, right? King Arthur with Excalibur. The Kingdom Key is like Excalibur. I always say, guys, I always say all these stories, it's Gilgamesh, King Arthur, and Jesus Christ. All these stories, all these hero stories, rather. All the hero stories are derived and inspired by a combination or an isolated Gilgamesh, King Arthur, Jesus Christ. All of it. Anyway, back to it. Let's do this thought exercise, okay? Let's assume that we're correct. Let's assume Kingdom Hearts is asleep in the innermost darkness, kind of what Kairi's grandma is saying. And in that darkness, Kingdom Hearts sleeps. But in that sleeping, Kingdom Hearts dreams. And in that dream, it dreams of Sora. And Sora's job is to reconnect all the worlds. Excuse me. Reconnect all the worlds and open the door to the innermost darkness, which will wake Kingdom Hearts up. Maybe that's what the power of waking is about in a very large and a very macro sense. Okay, so what does the Master of Masters want with that? And maybe that explains again why Yozora is protecting him. Save Sora. If Sora is crystallized in a sense, then he can't open the door and he won't vanish. Okay, look up Destati translation awaken. Hold on. I'm not... Indigo, thank you so much for those $5. You get like... Maybe I'm lost in what you're suggesting there. Please elaborate further. Please elaborate further. Sleeping isn't the same as dying. Not at all. Not at all. So again, you are right. So right, you should drop the lyrics. Okay. Now I'm following you. The Destati translation to the song Awaken. Okay. English. Oh, I spelled English lyrics to Destati Awaken. Let's see. English translation. Okay, I'm pulling it up. I think I got it. Okay. Let's pull this up. I'm with you. Okay. Okay. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. Okay. Please let me know that I'm looking at the right one here. I'm pretty sure I am. Awaken. Hold out your hand. This is Yoko, right? Yeah, this is Yoko. Okay. Awaken. Hold out your hand. The time has come. Awaken. The doors will be parted. Awaken. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, sorry. The doors will be parted. Awaken. 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 Come on. Remember. You who tremble. Come on. Wake up. Oh, remember. Memories. Awaken. Awaken. Come on. Hold out your hand. Awaken. Awaken. The time has come. And once again, they will open the doors. Come on. Remember. You who tremble. Come on. Wake up. Oh, remember. What? Do you not want it? Still it belongs to you. What you have lost will become one. Oh my goodness. Guys, I'm... All right. See, this is why, by the way, Nomura even wrote the lyrics. You who tremble reminds me of the Don't Be Afraid quotes from the KH1 reveal trailer. Nomura has been telling this to us for 20 years, and we did not notice once. Just like with Lushu, man. Listen, Nomura's storytelling is like this. Nomura's storytelling is like this. Watch what I'm doing with this hand, so you don't see what I'm doing with this other hand. Just watch this hand, guys. Oh, look, Sora, Darkness, Kairi, Riku, yep, just taking all the Lushu twists and all the twists, just gonna put them over here while you watch this. That's Nomura, man. He's a magician. He knows what he's doing. Destati plays with anything to do with the Station of Awakening, the End of the World, and Ansem Xehanort boss themes. Dude, I'm telling you. Guys, look, I've got a good feeling we cracked it, but I really want to keep going here, man. So what does the Master want to do with this? Does the Master want this outcome, or does he want to prevent this outcome? Let's start there. Does the Master of Masters want this outcome, or does he want to prevent this outcome? Or vice versa, does he want this outcome? Maybe there's something about this outcome he wants to make to his advantage, this is where I'm trying to go. Okay, how does this destiny of Sora that we're approaching, how does this play into what the Master of Masters is doing? I think this is the final piece, guys. If we can connect what we just figured out about Sora and Kingdom Hearts and all of that, if we can connect that to what the Master of Masters' plan is, then I think it's concrete. Because it all has to thread together, right? That's how Nomura and Ojima do this. It all has to thread together. So what are the threads that tie Sora's fate that we discussed with what the Master's planning? Reminds me of Missing Link. That power remembers you still. Yeah, when the player's like being born again. Okay, so hear this out, right? Kingdom Hearts is trapped in the innermost darkness. Sora has the key that can awaken Kingdom Hearts out of that darkness. So let's take that and keep it here. Over here, the hand Nomura wants us to watch is the Master of Masters trying to put true darkness within the Foretellers. Okay, but to what ends? How does that plan? Oh, no, okay, wait. My computer is lagging. We need to kill a few operators. I can't let this chat, this go down. No. Oh, no. Oh, please, computer, please pull through. Please pull through. I think we're pulling through. I'm going to leave this image up because it takes up the least amount of bandwidth. Give me a second. We can't lose this. I am killing all these processes on my desktop right now. Oh my God. I'm not sorry, Kick. I ain't monitoring you anymore. Okay. We're chill. Gang, we're chill. We survived the almost crash. We survived. I'm telling you, Square Enix is watching these streams and they're striking us down every time we get momentum. They're striking us down, but we're safe. My problem is, guys, I keep stacking tabs and I keep stacking programs as we keep looking into things, and sometimes it's just too much for the computer. But we're doing good now. We're back and settled. I'm going to keep our processes short just to protect us. Okay, yeah. Twitter window, out. Kick window, out. Okay, the party's on YouTube and we got a little bit on Twitch. That's all I'm monitoring because I cannot afford for this to go down. Can we put the trailer back up without a lag? I think so. Okay, recovered. Now, let's get back to it. Gollum, you've walked into quite a party, my friend. You've walked into quite a party. Okay, back to it, guys. Back to it, okay? I swear to God, stacking tabs like gravy, baby. Andy, bro. Andy, I have a question. Andy, have you been here the last 20 minutes? Because me and chat might have just cracked the whole plot. I kid you not. Andy, I kid you not. You might have to go back 30 minutes. Because, Andy, you need to know this. Andy Brew, you need to know this. This is required reading for the Landy Lodge now. You need to go back 30 minutes. Okay? You need to go back like we cooked, Andy. I think we cracked the whole thing. I think we cracked the whole goddamn thing, Andy. Oh, my God. Anyway. Okay. How... If we can just fit what we discovered about Sora into the Master of Masters plan, it's concrete, fellas. It's concrete. Just to ride what happened? Okay, I'm going to try and paraphrase it. Chat, let me know what I missed because it took like 20, 30 minutes of brainstorming to really crack this. I won't be able to do it justice. So if you're just tuning in now, I implore you to go back and watch us figure it out in real time, where it was truly like interrogated and investigated. But I'm going to paraphrase it, okay? Shout out to the FF10 fans out there. You'll know what I mean. Sora is the dream. Thank you for the warning, Laurel. Just like Tidus was the dream, Sora is the dream. Kingdom Hearts is asleep, right? Just like Kairi's grandma. Laurel's got it for us. What did Kairi's grandma say? It's the world we live in now, but the true light sleeps deep within the darkness. That's why the worlds are still scattered, divided from each other. But someday a door to the innermost darkness will open and the true light will return. Sora, you are the one who will open the door. So Sora is going to open the door to Kingdom Hearts in the innermost darkness. But Kingdom Hearts is asleep. And it's dreaming of Sora. Because as it's dreaming of Sora, Sora will reconnect the worlds. But when he opens the door to Kingdom Hearts, he's going to disappear forever. Just like it says in the reveal trailer. Your body, your soul, they will all disappear forever. Because once the dream wakes up the dreamer, the dream goes away. That's Sora. And if you need further proof, I hope y'all are still here. This is what started it all. This is what started it all. Okay? This is what started it all, Andy Brew, and everybody else just joining us now. Riku is the Dream Eater, right? For Sora, he's Sora's Dream Eater. Kairi, the Chirithys are also Dream Eaters. What have Kairi and Riku always done? They've always protected Sora in his sleep. They've always restored him in his sleep. You see that over and over between them. So again, Riku, the Dream Eater. Kairi, the Chirithy Dream Eater. So Dream Eaters on either side. Yuzora with the red eye is the Nightmare, okay? And if Yuzora is the night sky to Sora's day sky, then Yuzora is the nightmare to Sora's dream. And a la FF10, when the dream inevitably wakes up the dreamer, the dream's going to disappear. The power of waking. What do you think it's his destiny to awaken? Kingdom Hearts. But he is the dream. Yuzora's the nightmare. And Kairi and Riku are the Dream Eaters, the protectors, the guardians, his watchmen. It's like also clear to me now. Is any of this for real or not? Okay, the cliche would be, oh, Kingdom Hearts is all a dream. It's all a dream. No. Sora's the dream. Because Andy Brew, who do we first meet on Destiny Islands? Before we meet Squall, before we meet Donald and Goofy, before we meet Mickey, before we meet Maleficent, before we meet Ansem, we meet Tidus. Tidus is on Destiny Islands. Come on. And then Destati. You're right. We got to pull up Destati. You're right, Vitrin. Okay, it might risk crashing the stream again. But we're doing it. Where is it? I hope you're still here. Okay, you ready for this? I don't think you're ready for this. You ready to see the English translated dream lyrics of Destati? I'll read them out. Awaken, hold out your hand. The time has come. Awaken, the doors will be parted. Awaken. Come on, remember you who tremble. Come on, wake up. Oh, remember. Awaken. Come on, hold out your hand. Awaken. The time has come. Again, you're seeing the point here. But it's all about waking up Kingdom Hearts. It sleeps. The true light sleeps. Oh, my goodness. Copy paste it. I'll throw it in the chat. Okay? All of it. I think it's too big. Whatever. Anyway, I don't know what else to tell you guys. And now all I think that's left, to make this concrete, and this is what I keep coming to make this concrete, we got to figure out how Sora, being the dream and being the one who has to wake up Kingdom Hearts in its innermost sleep, okay? How does this thread into the Master's plan? And let me tell you something else. Andy Brew, and everybody else who's just joining us now. This makes sense why Yuzora has to save Sora, right? Because if Sora is walking towards his disappearance by being the one who will open the door, one way of saving him is to crystallize him. Make sure that he can't. Save Sora. Because if Sora does the self-sacrificing thing that we've seen him do, he's going to disappear forever. Remember what I said. What do I always freaking tell you guys? The Master of Masters is doing Xehanort to the 10th power. Xehanort and his plans resulted in Sora disappearing, right? Sora disappeared by using the power of waking in the Darkseeker saga. And he disappeared. But he only just disappeared to another side of reality. So what do you think the Master's endgame with that will be? He'll disappear, period. You wanted stakes, Andy Brew? You wanted a character that may be gone forever and is going to face those stakes? You got it, boy. You got it. So again, we just have to thread it together with the Master's plan. That's the final piece of this puzzle. That's the final piece of this puzzle. And then I'm fully sold on it. This is hilarious because I had like 2 other theories I was going to talk about today. But not anymore. Oh, my goodness. Maybe I'll never disappear. I don't know if I'm going to disappear or not. Starting to see it. You're starting to see it. Okay, but wouldn't the whole world / multiverse be the dream? Wouldn't everything disappear? So maybe some faction such as Yozora is preventing Kingdom Hearts from waking and preventing the dream from fading. Okay, so there's something. The world of Kingdom Hearts wouldn't fade. I don't think it's as simple as that. It's a good question. It's a good question that maybe Yozora's world is under threat from this. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Landy is the master of masters this entire time. You know something? Maybe I'll do something where if we reach a certain milestone, I'll do a whole podcast in an organization hood. That could be fun. Whatever is in the black box is being saved for when Sora opens a door, and that's why it contains hope. Okay, there's a good one. That's the other thing. If we... Okay. Now we're talking. See, BJ Games, you're onto something here. It's not just about threading the Master's plans with darknesses. It's the black box, too. I think the key to figuring out what exactly is going on is how do we thread together the Master, the black box, and what we just discussed with Sora. Sora is... Okay, here's the simplest way I can word this. Sora is the dream, Kingdom Hearts is the dreamer. I got a spare if you need it. You know, in case the Square Enix and Ninjas come for us. They may. They may. I hate characters not being real in fictional stories. I think Nomura and Nojima's approach to that is a little more nuanced. No one is saying that Tidus wasn't real in FF10. It's just the nature of their reality is different than the nature of ours. So it's just a little bit more, and that might not be what you were getting at when you messaged that, but one sky, one destiny could combine everything, unreality and reality together. Well, here's the other thing, right? The key to figuring out the one sky, one destiny thing is, why are Xehanort and Kairi the only ones to say the one sky, one destiny line? Why are they the only ones to say it? Yo, Kyle Toth says Ava sent dandelions to a world made of dreams. Okay, so maybe... Okay. You know something? I'm almost starting to wonder if the Master of Masters and remake trilogy Sephiroth might be up to something similar. That's a whole other thing I have to unwrap. But let's say Quadratum is a world of dreams. Who's the dreamer? Becomes the question. Okay. I'm definitely less certain of this than the previous theory we just discussed, but let me play with this a little bit. What if unreality is Brain's dream? And that's why they call him Brain. What if unreality is Brain's dream? I don't know. Just playing with it. The player's dream. Gollum Baggins. What if Quadratum is the player's dream? Look at Sephiroth's eyes and the eye in No Name. Exactly. That serpentine vertical pupil eye. Exactly. No, because I'm wondering. It's my hypothesis, by the way, that in the remake trilogy, a lot of what's going on with Sephiroth in the live stream, right? Follow me on this, guys. Follow me. Even if you're not an FF7 fan, follow me on this, because I'm wondering if there could be an overlap. Okay? My hypothesis with Sephiroth in the remake trilogy is what he's doing with the live stream. The live stream, consider that the live stream is dreams, desires, and memories all woven into one in a sense. Like when you die, you return to the planet and the life stream has knowledge of all things, right? It has everyone's dreams, desires, and memories. When I try to gauge what Sephiroth's up to, what he's trying to do is take the life stream and bring all dreams and desires and memories in alignment with him and Genova's goals, right? Sort of like hijacking like the subconscious of the planet to be in alignment with his singular desire. As opposed to being a thread woven of countless desires and dreams, it's about eliminating all of that to be singularly focused on what he's after. So could there be something with what the Master of Masters is cooking up where he wants to take these dreams and sort of thread them into one singular line that befits him? I don't know. Just wanted to point that out, see what you guys could cook up. Would the Master be the dreamer? Doesn't he have a line in Union Cross when he talks about a world of unreality that he could only dream of? He said, and who knows, could be a localization thing here, but in the English version, he says a world that even I couldn't conceive. He said something along those lines, like a world that even I could not conceive. Let me see. Okay, Laura Bluebell says, oh, hold up on Twitch. So we're definitely awaiting that message. I think it's just you lagging. We're still good. My OBS says we're still good. Is the message written on KH1's version of the arc in the world terminus worth rereading? Well, we're going to find out. We going to learn today. We going to learn today, chat. Oh, okay. Okay, we got a real something here, huh? Let's check this out. Let's check this out. The message in the world prison's computer. All right. Let's read it. This is from, okay, reminder, this is from Kingdom Hearts 1. It's their version of the arc in the world of Terminus. Let's go through it. O born from hearts, children of darkness lacking hearts, consume all the worlds and create the end of the world. Collect all the hearts and complete the single great heart. All hearts that become one, the one heart that became all. In other words, the kingdom of hearts, Kingdom Hearts. That is the great heart. It conceals the great darkness. Children of darkness, now return to the one darkness that seals the light. The strength of the heart devoid of darkness will open Kingdom Hearts. There are 7 hearts that lack darkness in the world. The 7 are the keyhole and the key. There are 2 who will close the door to darkness, Sora and Riku. 2 keys will close the door. The door to darkness that seals the light. The door that beings of light cannot pass. Only darkness that is born from darkness can pass through. Towards the center of the heart's darkness. O born from hearts, children of darkness lacking hearts, until the door of darkness opens, devour every single heart. I think we need to dissect that because I see a little bit of the Foretellers plan in there. Or rather, the Master's plans for the Foretellers. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break because I got to run to the little Keyblade wielder's room. I got to refill my waters and I got to breathe. I'm going to put up a Be Right Back screen, but I'm going to put this up on the Be Right Back screen so you guys can keep reading it while I'm visiting the little Keyblade wielder's room. So give me a second. I'm going to put on some tunes and we're going to get right back to it. I'm going to go chat, but I'm looking forward to this being uploaded. Magical Val, thank you for hanging out. Thanks for being part of the crazy hive mind that figured this all out. Okay. You guys hang back. Let's fade out this beautiful little music. Okay. Thanks for hanging with me, gang. All right. Andy. Not Andy Brew. Sigurd Andy. Dude, you're going to have to rewatch this one. I'm telling you, I actually think this is an all-time Landy Lodge for us. Kairi and Sora literally have a team attack called One Heart and restore every guardian. This is why, and I'm sorry. I know some people don't like this take. It's funny, I have some takes like this that I quite like, but others don't. I'm just going to say it again, guys. I'm just going to say it again. This series ends with Sora and Kairi becoming the guardians of Kingdom Hearts. And what that means is they will go through the door into Kingdom Hearts and will forever be the guardians of Kingdom Hearts. Maybe they've always been the guardians of Kingdom Hearts, but I have predicted for the longest time that the final shot of the Kingdom Hearts series will be Sora and Kairi going into Kingdom Hearts to be together forever. Rule as king and queen of Kingdom Hearts. If the throne imagery and the crown imagery and the fact that Kairi is a princess of heart, and what do princesses become? They become queens. Okay? That's how I've said this ends. I've always said that's how this ends. With what we've discussed today, I feel more confident in that notion than I ever have. Okay. Noctis and Lunafreya type-ish. Well, it's so funny you say that, Hollow Purple Haze, because Noctis and Lunafreya come from Nomura's concepts of Versus 13, and those concepts were always supposed to interact with Kingdom Hearts, and Noctis / Yozora was always made to be a mirror image of Sora. That ending of 15, which was clearly inspired by whatever the ending of Versus 13 was supposed to be, is exactly going to mirror the ending of Kingdom Hearts. They won't be dead, right? In a traditional sense, they won't be dead. They'll be, in a sense, immortal as the king and queen of Kingdom Hearts. And I think Riku lives to tell their story. Riku will have his own role to play too. I do not discount that. Okay. If Sora is the dream and the dream ends, then he and Kairi will never be together. And hey, listen, that might be our conflict. But as somebody mentioned before, hearts as one. There's going to be some part of the two of them that gets threaded together, that merge together. Not into one being, I'm not saying that. But if you recall, you know what, let's pull it up. Let's pull it up. One second. KH4, remind. Gotta be specific these days. It is way too hard to find an image of them doing the hearts as one move. I will say that. Oh, here we go. Could they make it any clearer? Could they make it any clearer? All I'm going to say. Again, the king and queen imagery is showing you the ending. It's showing you the ending. Okay? What do you think Sora is the king of? King Mickey's already got Disney Castle. Anyway. The Palpu fruit. The Palpu fruit. The Palpu fruit sealed it, Andy Brew. The Palpu fruit sealed it. And remember, there's always star imagery with Kairi. Let's remember that too. There's always star imagery with Kairi, which is why I'm going to bring this image back up. Because you see it right on the Chirithy. There's always star imagery with Kairi. And the Palpu fruit sealed the deal, so to speak. Look up Yan Bird mythology. You got it. Let's look that up. Yan Bird mythology. Okay. In Chinese mythology, the birth of the Yan Emperor, the Yan Di, the Yan Di Lodge, sorry. Okay. Who is also conflated with the agricultural deity Shenong, is intimately tied to a dragon. According to ancient legends, his mother, a maiden named Renzi, conceived him after being touched by the vapor or energy of a divine dragon while near the Jiang River. Interesting. I see that as sort of like a Chinese immaculate conception. I may have spelled it wrong. Maybe. It's funny. Now I see where Fire Emblem got the idea of Divine Dragon. So I did learn something, Josh. I do appreciate that. Okay. Master of Masters wants to use Sora to connect with the true light and connect all hearts. This restores all hearts and destroys true darkness. Sora is his safety plan. Well, I'm glad you got us back on track here, dude, because I did want to point something out. Let's blow this up again. There's a lot here to dissect, but check this out. Only dark... Okay, let's go back a couple lines. Okay. The door to darkness that seals the light. The door that beings of the light cannot pass. Only darkness that is born from darkness can pass through. Is this why he wants to put the darkness in the Foretellers? Because if the Foretellers don't have true darkness, they can't pass through the door. Only darkness that is born from darkness can pass through. So maybe he wanted to put the true darknesses in the Foretellers so that they could pass through the door. Right? Remember what the master said to Lucio. He's like, I'm not trying to sacrifice anyone. This isn't about putting the darknesses in them and killing them. He made it very clear. I'm not trying to sacrifice anyone. And we've all been confused. Okay, then what are you trying to do? But if we look at this, the door to darkness that seals the light. The door that beings of the light cannot pass. So there's a light sealed behind the door, but a being of light can't pass through that door to the light. Only a being of true darkness, born from darkness, can pass through into that light. So maybe in order for the Master of Masters to reach that light, he needs to have the true darkness hall pass, for lack of a better term. So if he could put the darkness in his pupils, then he'd be able to send his pupils through that door. And maybe that's the next step in his plan. Because remember, this is called the Lost Masters arc, which means this is what's going down is going to come down to the Foretellers. Excuse me. Only darkness that is born from darkness can pass through, towards the center of the heart's darkness. Interesting. There was darkness before light, right? I can't say for sure. Maybe only Xehanort can say for sure. Okay. Master of Masters is a genius. He's an alchemist. That is for sure. He also said their hearts would be strong enough not to be taken over. Exactly. They'd still have their agency. They'd still have... Okay. I'm thinking something through. Hold up. Is that why Vanitas looks like Sora? So I think Vanitas looks like Sora because of what Sora's very unique power is. And Ansem the Wise explained this to us. When he sees the heart in something, it then becomes real. When a connection seems broken, he may have the power to mend it. And as Vanitas says, you define me, Sora, in the same way Ventus does. So to me, I think the reason Vanitas looks like that is because Sora seeing him as real made him real. You know? So that's how I kind of read that. Is Sora is the one making Vanitas real. And if Vanitas is a true darkness, like many of us suspect, you now see why the Master might have such an interest in somebody like Sora. Okay. Laura Bluebell says, I'll post it here too. Bless the KH community bookmark. It's a whole archive document of Ultimania translations. You know something? Let me bookmark that so that we always have that on call when we're doing an episode. Bookmark this tab. Beautiful. Okay. Sora and King Mickey both have kingdom keys. One from the Dark Realm, and they both use the Keyblade to seal the door in KH1. You know something? I misspoke on that earlier. Sora and Mickey had the keys to close the door. Riku just helped shut it. But that's actually kind of interesting. Well, they're both kings, right? See, this solidifies my theory even more. So imagine... Because you're right. There's King Mickey, who in a sense is like the king of all worlds. And then there's Sora, who would be like the king of Kingdom Hearts. So you have like a surface king and a spirit king, so to speak. Lands the Master, 45 months a member. My dude. Okay. I had to go through Internet Archive to find that World Prison Computer translation. Then you know what? Let me bookmark this one too. We don't want to lose that. Kyle Toth, check this out. The door to darkness needed to be sealed from both sides. Player and Ephemer had to seal the cable tunnel from both sides. The two keys to seal the door could also refer to Ephemer and Player. And look, Kingdom Hearts is patterns, right? The same patterns repeat themselves over and over. Sora and Mickey sealed the door in KH1. Sora and Mickey sealed the door in KH1. Player and Ephemer sealed the door in Union Cross. I've got a feeling Sora and Yozora will seal the next door. And remember, the Kingdom Key was supposed to be Riku's. The story just keeps repeating. It's archetypes, baby. Archetypes. Okay. Where's my water at? All right. 1 second. Sora was sent to Quadratum to connect with the dead wielders and make their hearts real again so they can return to life. See, I would like that angle. I would like that angle because I would kind of like the idea if Sora finds himself in a world where it's like everyone's trying to use him, which wouldn't be very different from the Dark Seeker saga, but it's like everyone is trying to use him, even if it's for good means, right? But like the Masters and the Dandelions, everyone might have a need for him. And it might just be exhausting him, which could be cool. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. Found out from this document that apparently Oathkeeper is Nomura's favorite Keyblade. At least back in KH1. We'll see. Okay, something posted in Discord. Let's check it out. Let me see what you guys are up to. You guys know I would allow posting links in the chat, but there have just been people in the past that have abused that. Or used it for nefarious means. Right? Always a handful of idiots that ruin it for the rest of y'all, right? Okay. Where are we at? Let's see. Huh. Josh Z says, Jian, also known as the like-wing or shared-wing bird. Now we're talking. He's a creature from ancient Chinese mythology. It is famously described as having only one eye and one wing. Interesting. Because a single Jian is physically incomplete. It must lean on its partner to act as one and fly. You know, I kind of like that. I kind of like that. The hearts is one sort of lines up with that. Because, I mean, look, this is not that crazy of a notion. In a lot of old mythologies, and a lot of mythologies, sort of human mythology, the idea is that humans used to be one creature. You see this in Greek mythology. You even see this in the Bible, is humans used to be one creature. And there's different mythologies have different reasons for doing it. So, like, for instance, I believe it's Zeus who separated the creature into man and woman, because when man and women were united into one creature, it was such a powerful creature it threatened the gods. So the gods, like Zeus, separated man and woman into two different creatures. And that's what marriage is, right? That's what marriage is supposed to be, is two people coming together to create that perfect being again. Not in flesh, but in spirit. You know? So again, when we look at the hearts as one between Sora and Kairi, you're looking at something very similar there. And when you look at Dearly Beloved, it sounds like a wedding track. You know, it does have a wedding vibe to it. Anyway, I'm getting beyond it there. I'm getting a little bit too into speculation. But point being, Kobe! Cut it out, boy! Let him go. Keep it down, buddy. If we relate the Jian, one wing and one eye, to Sora and Kairi, then perhaps Sora might turn into a true darkness. I gotta close this door. Buddy boy! Buddy boy! Keep it down, bud. Keep it down. All right. I love that pooch. I love that pooch. Okay, we're back. Or funeral. Or funeral. But you see that in mythology. You see that in scripture, is this idea that, again, the gods or God or a god, again, the Bible handles this a little bit differently, where Eve was created from Adam's rib, right? Adam as one being was incomplete. So Eve was created, pulled out of him, so that two beings in harmony can work together. Because that's a lot of reflection of how our world works. But again, like in Greek mythology, it's like, oh, that being is too powerful. We have to split them into two. And that, again, going out and finding your life partner is sort of about bringing that being back together in spirit. Not in flesh, but in spirit. But anyway, you get my point. Tangent aside. Let's keep going. Just the name Dearly Beloved, we are gathered here for the wedding of Sora and Kairi. Exactly. Dearly Beloved is what is said at a wedding. So this whole idea that these two separate beings have to become one, hearts as one, again, is not a notion that's beyond a lot of the mythology and scripture that Kingdom Hearts is based on. Sora has been a darkness since KH1, I bet. Kairi just poofed the shadow into him. You know, we discussed it on the last stream, that was a very peculiar event in Kingdom Hearts history. Can you read my message, please? It says Marvin. Let me scroll up. Do you believe Sora's Keyblade can break in half if he fights a giant Heartless? Not the Kingdom Key. I think the Kingdom Key is indestructible. But we'll see. It would be jarring to watch that happen. It wouldn't be the first time we've seen a Keyblade snap. But I think the Kingdom Key is self-restorative. Okay. Dearly Beloved shows up in canon for Sora and Riku too. It's SRK. Okay, KH1 Ultimania confirms Tidus was the first Final Fantasy character Nomura drew for KH1. Why do you think that is, Loro? KH1 Ultimania confirms Tidus was the first Final Fantasy character Nomura drew for KH1. And why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? We'll see. And again, when you look at Sora and Kairi, Sora on a throne, Kairi on a throne, Kairi is a princess of heart, Sora, again, with the crown, not to mention the hearts as one, the connected wings. You're seeing a lot of that with that Chinese Jiang that Josh Z brought up. You're starting to see a lot of that. Would you see the final battle of KH4 trailer in Quadratum? I have to be honest. If they dropped a final battle trailer, I would watch it. I don't know what to say. I go into it knowing I might get spoiled, but what can I say? I legit had Dearly Beloved as my wife was walking down the aisle. My wife walked down the aisle to Zelda's Lullaby, because that's actually how my wife and I met. I was at the gym. I was wearing a Zelda shirt, and not just any Zelda shirt, like the quintessential millennial green t-shirt with the Triforce at the chest, like the quintessential Zelda t-shirt everybody had. I wore that to the gym, and my wife, who was on the elliptical, just said, "Hey, I like your shirt." And I thought she was so pretty that I was like, that's my in. I got to talk to her. And that's how we kind of started talking. And I was like, oh my God. Did you have khakis on too? No, I didn't have the famous fit. I didn't have the khakis. I had basketball shorts. I was at the gym. I wish I had the khakis with the Zelda shirt, the quintessential millennial fit. But it was just the shirt with some basketball shorts. But it's so funny. It's so funny. That's how I met my wife. What was that now? Oh my God, almost 10 years ago. Life moves pretty fast, boys and girls. Actually, yeah, 10. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. 10 years ago. Time flies. Okay. Let's see. You know what's funny? We played the Melody of Memory version of Dearly Beloved, after we said our vows and kissed the bride, and then we walked back down together. So it's like she walked up with Zelda's Lullaby, and we walked down with Melody and Memory, Dearly Beloved. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Who says video games don't bring romance? Dude, it's all over. What video games show you is that men like romantic subplots too. Some of you might be too shy to admit it, but that's what video games show you, is that men like romantic subplots too. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say. I'm a Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, and Zelda fan. And cheers to that. Could be a lot worse. Could be a lot worse. Lovely. Okay. How we doing? We're at 2 hours 18? Okay. Do you have your first KH3 gameplay reaction video? No. I don't. I wish I saved all of that. Cheers to 10 years since you met your wife. Oh, it goes fast, man. We were so young, man. I was like just out of college when I met her. Factual. It's just biology. It's science. It's just science. Okay. All right. All right, fellas and ladies. The reunion of Sora and Kairi will fail. I don't think so. I don't think so. That's not my read on the situation. Those two are destined to succeed, but they're destined to be continually separated by fate until they finally fulfill their purpose. Unrelated to the topic, but this is interesting. The duality piece was what Nomura intended on KH2's box artwork being. Really? I didn't know that. All right. Let's see here. I miss anything? Oh, 1 second. Oh, 1 second. My pooch is whining because I closed the door on him. Don't worry, buddy. That's what happens when you bark, boy. All right. Landy, why do you think Vanitas wears the black coat to ward off darkness if he is true darkness? Good question. Good question. Why would Vanitas wear the coat to ward off darkness if he is true darkness? If he is a true darkness, rather. You know something, Gollum? You have me a little bit stumped. I want to give you, like, it contains him, says Mako Sabrok. Mako Sabrok. It contains him. But then why would he need to wear it sometimes and not others? That could be, okay, Usagioni's got something. Maybe he doesn't want the other darknesses to find him. It could be that. KH3 box art has hooded people at a building, hinted at KH4. I'm going to look at KH4. Yeah, remember, every box art is hinting towards the next game. Every box art hints to the next game. That's why in KH2, Final Mix, the box art is the final world. KH3, the box art looks very Quadratum-esque. You can see it behind me. Whatever KH4's box art is, we can almost reverse engineer that to figure out what the plot is. Yeah, Esor, I think that's been the most popular idea, is that they don't want other darknesses to find him. I need to read the Dream Drop Distance Ultimatia to see what it says about Anti-Black Coat. Yeah, that's going to be one of our next episodes. We're going to go all in on the Anti-Black Coat. What's crazy is that Marluxia was in KH3, was in Organization 13 with his sister's killer. We'll see, right? We're going to find out. There's a folk story about a guitarist who makes a deal with the devil at a crossroads. That was actually the inspiration for the opening of Chain of Memories. Yeah. We covered that on our Crossroads stream. All right, give me 1 second, guys. My little Poochie is whining a little bit. Let me go fetch him a snack, okay? Give me 1 second. All right, Poochie. All right, Poochie. Let me get you a snack. Come on, Poochie. Okay, we're here. Come on up. Come on up. There's a little jerky for you. Heard my boy whining a little bit, so I just want to let him know he's seen. Yes, come on up here. Come on up here. Come on up here. Come say hello. Everyone say hi to my puppy. This is Kobe. This is Kobe. He's a good boy. When he was a puppy, he would crash these streams all the time. When he was a little puppy. Yes, I see you. I see you. I see you. You want your jerky? You want a little jerky? There you go. There you go, puppy. But yeah, when he was a puppy, he would crash these streams all the time just because he was a little more needy. You know, he needed a little more attention. But I think right now he's telling me he's a good boy. I love this. I love this dog with all my heart. My wife and I love this puppy with all our heart. He, in so many ways, is the best thing that has ever happened to the both of us. Right, buddy? Right, buddy? And it's spelled Kobe like Kobe Bryant. Because my boy can jump. Yes, 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 I see you. Yes, I see you. Yes, he's a good boy. He's a good boy. He's a very, very good boy. We'll just tip the camera more that way. Yeah, there they are. Yes. Oh. Someone's a little needy. Someone's a little needy. I hope you guys appreciate this little deviation in the episode. Okay, buddy. Okay. Can I wrap up? Can I finish up? And then we'll go play? And then we'll go play? How's that sound? Okay? You're a good boy. He's a baller. He really is. He really is. I'm telling you, he is like the nicest, sweetest, most cuddly dog of all time. Nomura talks about the Black Coat Nightmare in the Ultimania. Can you copy and paste that or link that? That might be a good thing to cover before we wrap up today. Yes, yes, yes. You're very sweet. You're very sweet. Okay? Yes, I know, buddy. I know. You smoochy poochie, okay? Smoochy poochie. Can I finish the show? Can I finish the show and then we go play? I got you. Gotta let you down easy, pup. Okay. All right. Yeah, you could stay right here. Bud, if you want. Okay. Sometimes I want a puppy, but I don't know if I could get one. They are a responsibility, man. Well, my wife and I have always said that he's training us for the day we're going to have children. He's training, like we're training him as a dog, but in a lot of ways he's training us so that we'll be better people parents one day. Oh, Land's the master, 68 months on Twitch. I just saw that now. Riku fights a nightmare wearing a black coat in this world. Just who was that? Nomura says that nightmare was the personification of the nightmare Sora was having. Huh. Okay, hold on. That nightmare was the personification of the nightmare Sora was having. Okay, hold on. It's a persona. I'm really trying to think that through. Has the darkness overtaken you, Landy Lord? In other words, it's Vanitas. I don't know what to make of that yet. We'll have to do that. We're going to have to do our Dark Chirithy anti-black coat investigation on another episode. Let me ask you guys, actually, before we wrap up today, you guys are actually right now going to choose our next episode. I'm going to investigate the big theory we discovered today. I'm going to clip it. And throw it up tomorrow. But let's do this. Next. Oh, get these dev tools out of here. Okay. Next KH episode. Black box. Anti-black coat. All right, gang. Since you made it for the end of the episode, since y'all are here for the long haul, the winner, you guys choose the next KH episode. It's on the poll right now. I think it has more to do with Sora's fear of the organization, but also what Sora may become. Oh, gee, is a dream scared he'll become a nightmare? Maybe. Okay. Landy, is anti-black coat just the white coat? I don't think so. Oh, wow. Anti-black coat is dominating. We're going to let that roll, but it's looking like anti-black coat's going to be the next one. Interesting. Kobe is the true guardian of light, 100%. You know, sometimes my wife and I call him our little Ventus. Like, we like to play that I'm Terra, she's Aqua, and Kobe's our little Ventus. Because he's a heart of light. You know what I mean? He's a heart of light. I want both. I mean, we're going to get both. I'm going to do both episodes. But I give it all to the chat. I'm here for you guys. Whatever you guys want next, those of you sickos that make it to the end of the episode, that's what I'll do. I got to sneeze. Kobe is the dream made real. Oh, my baby boy. My baby boy. You're going to get both episodes. I'm going to do both episodes. But, like I said, y'all just picking which one we're going to do first. Remember at the end of Birth by Sleep, Vanitas lost his form as Vanitas. Right. But then his form remanifested. That's a good point. Because he was pulled. He's one of the ones that was pulled through time, right? Lenny, did you see this? Okay, we're going to find out. Let's see. Let's see. What are you sending me here? No. Just, like, why? Why, dude? Why am I seeing this right now? What is this? Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Like, I don't even know what to say. Like I won't, you know something? That is a goddamn nightmare. Sorry to clip the mic, but like, you know something? That is a goddamn nightmare. Who did this? Who did this? Why? I can't. More proof that Sora is player. I'm telling you, Sora could be the player's third life, or the player could be in Sora's heart. I don't know. We'll see. I'm Arcanine Inferno. Got it. Arcanine Inferno is who we have to blame. All right, well, it looks like anti-black coat's got the 60-40 spread. Oh, dude, I love the Giga Chad Seeger profile picture. I think it's amazing. But all right. All right. Ladies and gents. Ladies and gentlemen. And everybody else. The red eyes are a reference to the Birth by Sleep novel as Vanitas' form before Ventus connected to Sora. I say Sora is player. Iron Line. It might be. It might be.